Alright guys, kind of a cold one today, but the birds really did need a bath. I was going through all my hens. Some of them I didn't have in my system. So just making sure I have everything written down, where from, who from, all that good stuff. And I noticed some of them handled pretty darn rough. Some of them were perched in a bad spot where they were getting, crapped on. And honestly, I don't remember the last time I gave them a bath. It probably had to have been over a month ago or so. Like I said, once the racing season was over, everything kind of went into neutral. And not that I stopped caring, but it just kind of, food and water is what they got, and that was pretty much it. I let them finish up the molt, things of that nature. So now it's getting, back on track to getting them nice and healthy. Obviously, if you guys are following along, you're finishing up your medication regimen. You should be on week number 2, which would be canker and maybe some wormer. If your 3-in-1 or 4-in-1 or whatever you're using doesn't contain those, this is the week to do it. Don't forget the probiotics in between. And once we get off of that, get them on the correct path in terms of health. Make sure they have enough minerals and grits and everything else they need to recover from that, just in case the medication, knocked them down a few pegs. We want to make sure we get them right back up where they need to be. So the very next step, guys, is to turn the lights on. It's the most crucial step, and it's the next step in terms of getting the birds ready for the mating season, for the breeding season. As you notice, we have decreased daylight, and all animals, birds and mammals included, no longer want to mate, no longer want to raise youngsters, and it's directly affected because of the daylight. So what we have to do is we have to manipulate that light and get them back in the mindset that they want to mate and have youngsters. With that being said, if you have a crude method of turning the lights on and you can only keep them on, just as simple as possible, guys, turn them on and leave them on. Even if it's 24 hours a day, that's fine. I've done that in the past and I've not had any negative effect. I'd go in there at middle of the night to close things down and the birds are sleeping just fine, regardless if the lights are on or not. But if you want, and you want to take the next step like I did this year, because I darkened, I put them on a timer. The timer was very inexpensive. I think it was like 12 to 15 bucks or so, and it's helped me out tremendously. It controls the light for me. I don't have to stress over it. And I'll show you how I did it, because when I first built this coop, I didn't have racing in mind. I was just a fancier and I wanted to keep birds, so I never wired it completely, and it's still pretty darn crude. As you can see, there's an extension cord coming in from the backside into the timer, and then split 3 ways. Top would be the cocks, my racing section, and that goes all the way back to the hens. Do opt, if you can, spend the extra $2, $3, $4, $5 and get yourself a weatherproof one. It's got a nice little lid on it, keeps everything nice and clean, keeps the dust off of it, even if the birds don't get to it necessarily. This one, in fact, even has a switch that I can turn on at any given time. Boom, and then my lights are on, and you can see, they are bright. They are LEDs. I got one for each section, and in my breeding section it's got a 2 light bulb, which was very unnecessary because it is bright. But they seem to work. Like I said, I love this thing. It's worth every penny. Guys, it just keeps everything that much nicer and cleaner. The little tabs that you have to depress to automatic to turn the lights on and off. The tolerances, the clearances are real small, so any amount of dust or any amount of debris we'll start to jam those up, and that just becomes, they render them useless, and it's just not what we want. Spend the extra few bucks, get yourself the nice one with the the lid on it, and it'll always stay nice and clean that way. And honestly, guys, it's about the best investment I ever made in this cage. I don't know if you guys plan on darkening or putting them on the light, but regardless of what method, you're still going to need a timer, and I think it's worth an investment. Like I said, worst case scenario, if you're a lazy ass and you don't want to get that in depth with it, at least find a way to turn the lights on. The idea is to get the birds in that mindset, and the lights are the only thing that's going to get them there. If you think that you're going to somehow cheat the system and not turn the lights on, I will guarantee you 100% you will not have a good season in terms of breeding youngsters. You may have half the birds that you put together want to mate and have eggs and babies. The other half have no interest whatsoever. The cocks are just fighting the hens and not wanting to take a box. And it's chaos. Listen, if you don't want to follow along, don't follow along. But at the end of it all, don't blame me if you guys don't have good success. I'm trying to help you guys out, trying to help myself out. So if you choose not to follow, hey, that's your choice, your decision. It doesn't hurt my feelings whatsoever. But if you think you're going to somehow cheat it and just put the birds together without turning the lights on the first couple weeks ahead of time, you're just cheating yourself, and you'll find out the hard way, unfortunately. And again, I've said it before, I don't want anybody to, have to do things the hard way. It's kind of why I'm making this series, to try to help you out. And this is what I've done in the past, and it's been 100% successful for me. If I put 17 pairs on eggs, let's say in my breeding section here, I'll have 16 pairs in 10 days, all on eggs like clockwork. And I'll demonstrate that in the following few videos. So, nothing more to say, guys. Lights on. It's up to you what lights you guys want to use. I just use these LED strips I bought from Lowe's. I think they're like 20 bucks. I wired them in. They're a little too bright, to be honest, for some of the smaller sections, but they're nice and convenient. They got little covers on them. I don't have to worry about the birds bumping them or anything like that if they're flying around. And that makes it real nice. I've heard that the daylight bulbs, I think they're called, I think those are full spectrum. They're a little bit better in terms of getting that UV to the birds, but I don't turn the lights on so the birds have the euphoric effect of the sunlight. I turn them on to get them into that mindset as it gets dark, because the aviaries are always open for them, and they can go out there as they please, and they can stay in the sun as they please. So the idea is for them to have that light on, so they don't feel that, hey, it's wintertime and it gets dark at 5. It might not get dark till midnight now that we have the lights on, and that's, like I said, the main idea here. But it's up to you. If you want to spend the money and get the full spectrum light bulbs, hey, more power to you. It's not a bad thing. It's just I didn't want to wire them in that way. I got the LEDs that were nice and simple, convenient. For 20 bucks, I should say for under 100 bucks, I lit up the entire loft, including the hen's coop. And I dig them. I like them a lot. Your choice, guys. There's no wrong or right here, as long as the lights are on for the next few weeks. So the last 2 weeks of November, lights are on. If you're lazy, leave them on 24 hours, no problem. If you want to, opt to spend 15 bucks to get a nice timer, that's going to help out tremendously. Do your research. I'm not going to tell you how long to keep the lights on, honestly. For me, I think I'm going to turn the lights on somewhere around 7 in the morning and probably close them down to about 11 to midnight at night, something like that. I just want a longer day than we currently have. So that's the idea of it. And like I've said in the past, I've turned them on for 24 hours and still have not had an issue. Your choice, guys. Let me know how it works for you. Either one has worked for me, so whatever. You guys do whatever you guys think is going to be the easiest for yourself. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.